Slanted Double Crochet Designs. I'm Deb, and today I have a very simple crochet pattern for a shawl. And this is in finished size of the shawl is approximately 22 to 24 inches wide, and it's about 60 inches long. Now this crochet shawl is very beginner friendly. It uses 3 basic stitches. It uses this chain stitch, the single crochet, and the double crochet. The placement of those stitches is what makes the stitch pattern very unique. As you can see here, it has a nice texture. I have used a bulky yarn, a weight 5 for this particular one. The pattern that is linked down below uses a super bulky, which is a weight 6. And either one works. Just remember that if you adjust your yarn, the weight of your yarn, you also need to adjust the size of your hook, as well as maybe the number of stitches that you use in your foundation chain. So if you're ready, let's get started. Okay, for today's tutorial, I am going to be using Yarn Bee's Tender Touch in the color Rose. Now this is actually a weight 5 versus a weight 6 that I used in the pattern. Either one works. You just need to know that you need to adjust the width or your foundation chain depending on the weight of your yarn, because a weight 6 will make you'll need fewer stitches or foundation chain stitches to make the width that you need. But you can easily adjust that. This pattern, stitch pattern, is a foundation chain of 4, any multiple of 4 plus 3. So for this one, since I'm using a slightly lighter weight yarn, I am going to chain a few more than what the pattern calls for, which is 63 chains, which is a 4 plus 3. I'm going to go with 71 chains, which is still a 4 plus 3. So let's begin. I am using, with my weight 5, I am using a 8mm hook instead of a 9mm hook. So I went down a size in hook. So we're going to chain 71, which is a multiple of 4 plus 3. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 66, 67, 68. That's our multiple of 4 plus 1, 2, 3, which makes 71. All right, so now we're ready. We've got our foundation chain made. We are ready to go on and create our very first row. Now, row 1 will be used to make the foundation of the pattern, the stitch pattern. So with row 1, we are going to start in the 3rd chain from the hook. We do not count this chain on our hook, or this loop on our hook. So there's 1, 2, 3. In that 3rd chain, we are going to make 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Both of those double crochets go in that same chain. Okay, so now we have our chain 2 right here, which is where we turned, and then we have 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. This will be how we're going to start the first row. From there, we're going to skip 3 chains. 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th chain, we are now going to put 1 single crochet. Then we're going to chain 2. And in that same chain space that we put the single crochet, we are going to put 2 double crochets. 1, 2. And by doing that, you can see that our double crochets are slanting sideways a little bit. From there, we're going to repeat. We're going to skip 3 chains. Now be very careful. Sometimes this chain right next to that, where you place those other stitches,
might get a little bit tight, so be sure to make sure you have that. 1, 2, 3. In the 4th chain, repeat that same group of stitches. 1 single crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets, all in the same chain space. Right? Let's repeat that again. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and into the next chain, we're going to start by making a single crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Okay, so now you can definitely see the slanting of those double crochets. We're going to do that same stitch pattern all the way across that row pattern. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3. In the 4th, you're going to make a single crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets, all in the same chain space. You will repeat this across the width of your shawl until you get to the last 4 chains, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, I have worked back so that all the way across, so I have 4 chains left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like before, we're going to skip the 3, 1, 2, 3, and in that very last chain stitch, we are simply going to make a single crochet. And that completes row 1. And as you can see, your double crochets are slanting sideways, giving it its name. Now, the chain 2 with each one, you do the single crochet and the chain 2. That chain 2 is going to count as a stitch. So now we're going to take, and we're ready to turn our work. We're going to turn our work like the pages of a book. And in that the first thing we're going to do is chain 2. 1, 2. It's going to count as a double crochet. Then we're going to, at the bottom of that chain 2, in that single crochet that you just made on the end of the last row, this is row 2, we're going to make 2 double crochets. Just like we started the first row, we're going to make 2 double crochets in that first stitch. Okay, so now we have our chain 2, that was our turning chains, going to count as a double crochet, and 2 double crochets. Now we're going to skip the next 2 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and this is that chain 2 space. In that chain 2 space, we are going to do 1 single crochet, chain 2, and then around that chain 2, we're going to do our next 2 chain 2, or our next 2 double crochets. Sorry about that, double crochets. So instead of in the chain space, we're going to do it in the chain 2 space. 1 single crochet, 2 chains, and 2 double crochets, all in that chain 2 space. Now skip the next 2 double crochets and find that chain 2 space again. In that chain 2 space, make a single crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochets, all in that chain 2 space. All right, one more time. Skip the single crochet, the 2 double crochets, and in the chain 2 space, make a single crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets, all in the chain 2 space. Okay, so you're skipping 3 stitches again. You're skipping the single crochet, a double crochet, and a double crochet. And in the chain 2 space, make a single crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. All right, we're going to repeat that stitch pattern all the way across this row. And again, you're simply skipping the single crochet, skip a double crochet, skip a double crochet, find the chain 2 space. In that chain 2 space, single crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochets. All right, I will meet you at the end of row 2. All right, I have reached the end of my row. I have 2 more groups of stitches left. In this stitch, I'm going to skip that single, skip the double, and in that chain 2 space, I'm going to make a single crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochets, right? And this is how you're going to end the row. You're going to skip that single, skip the 2 doubles. In this chain 2 space that was your turning chain, you're simply going to make 1 single crochet. And that is the end of row 2. Now, row 2 is our repeat row. So from here on out, you're going to repeat row 2. You've ended with a single crochet, chain 2, turn your work, and follow that chain 2 down to that single crochet that you put there, and do 2 more double crochets. Now you're ready to move on to row 3, which is a repeat of row 2. Skip the next, and at the beginning of the row, because you worked into that single crochet, you're going to only skip 2 double crochets, work into that chain 2 space, making a single crochet, a chain 2, and 2 double crochets. And then for the rest of the row, you need to skip 3 stitches, the single, 1 double, 2 double, in that chain 2 space, repeat that stitch pattern again, chain 1 or single crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Skip the single, skip the double, in the chain 2 space, 1 single crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochets. And that is the row repeat. 1 row repeat. So it's row 2. You're repeating all the way. So you're going to repeat row 2 until you've reached the length that you want, the desired length. The pattern, the shawl is 60 inches long. If you want to make it longer, crochet more rows, but that will affect the amount of yarn that you need. So I will meet you at the end of the shawl, and I will show you how to finish off the last row of the shawl. So continue the skip 3, single crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, all the way across. When you have finished and gotten it the length that you want, come back and I will show you how to finish it off. Okay, as you can see, I have gotten my shawl as long as I would like it. I am at the very end of my last row of my row repeat. I'm going to go into that chain 2 space. I'm going to make a single crochet. Now there are a couple of options. You can just finish off your yarn here and have this edge have this little up and down scallop look to it. But the other edge with your foundation chain is going to be more of a straight edge. So a second option would be to do a final row that looks where you chain 2, turn your work, and begin this last row like you did every other row and put 2 double crochets in that same single crochet from the row before. Then in this chain 1 space or chain 2 space, make a single crochet, Once you've made that single crochet, then I take and make 2 double crochets. I don't do the chain 2 on the in this time. I just make 2 double crochets. Then I single crochet in that chain 2 space, and immediately, without chaining 2, make 2 double crochets. In that next one, single crochet, 2 double crochets. Go to the next chain 2 space, 1 single and 2 double crochets. One single, and do you see how it gives it a little bit more of a straighter edge? This is one option, or you can finish off here and have the wave on the edge. I'm going to go ahead and finish this across the row. There's my second double crochet, then 1 single and 2 doubles in the next chain 2 space. So your last row, you're simply doing 1 single crochet and 2 double crochets in every chain 2 space across. And this just gives it a little bit more finished straight edge, similar to the foundation, the edge with the foundation chain. But if you prefer to leave it more with more of a scallop look, that is also okay too. I will meet you at the end. All right, I am at my last couple of stitches. I'm at the end of my row. I'm going to go into that chain 2 space again. I'm going to make a single crochet and immediately do 2 double crochets. And then in that last chain 2 space, I am going to finish off with 1 single crochet. Then finish off your yarn. And that is your finished edge on your shawl. Okay, again, adding that last row is just an option. If you want to have a little bit more of a wavy look, you can leave this last row off. But there's your finished shawl. It's a very easy pattern. It's a great pattern. The stitch pattern also works great for blankets, and you can just simply increase your foundation row and make it wider. We worked the width of this and went back and forth on the width of this shawl, and so it kind of is long and narrow, but you could make it wider by simply adding foundation chains, more foundation chains. Again, it's a multiple of 4 plus 3. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you enjoyed this tutorial, if you have questions or comments, please leave those in the down below. In the description box below, I will leave the link to the pattern on my website. And until next time, happy crocheting.